Yeah, well, it's been busy, obviously. Coach has done a great job putting the staff together, and so we're obviously getting acclimated as an offensive staff, and we've spent a lot of time together the last 4 or 5 days, and it's really gone very, very well. And it's just a thrill personally to be a part of this organization. When you get an opportunity to coach in any of the 32 teams, it's a privilege. But certainly with the history here, the tradition. It's a family-run business, and so I'm delighted to be a small part of it. And so far, it's really been exciting, and it's been a lot of fun.
Sure that you'll get to personnel and everything later, but from what you do know about this Cowboys offensive line, you a little excited?
Yeah, I mean, obviously these guys have accomplished an awful lot already in their careers, and certainly have some really fine players to work with, talented guys athletically, and I've met a couple of them personally. They seem like outstanding people, number one, and football's a team game. You win with people, and but yeah, obviously excited to work with this group and looking forward to getting to know them better here in the near future.
What's the unique challenge maybe in working with a group that's been so accomplished? I mean, these
Right.
individual veterans who've had so much success. How do you teach them even more at this stage of their career?
Yeah. Well, you hopefully, I think in coaching them, first and foremost, you try to set a good example for the players to follow. So if you look at my example, I've been coaching for 35 years, and I hope to be a better coach for the Dallas Cowboys than I've been for the Packers and the Indianapolis Colts and the Dolphins and the University of Iowa. So I think you always strive, you're looking for progress as a coach and as a player, and I think the beauty and the fun of football is and I think it applies in all professions, that you're never a totally finished product, and I think there's always room for development, there's always room for improvement. I know from a personal level, I don't think I've ever coached a perfect game, and I don't know that in 35 years of watching players that they've played perfect games. So that's not a negative, that's not a knock, that's kind of the fun and the challenge and what makes every day, being part of a team and coming in to contribute, that's what makes it fun, that's what makes it not a job for somebody like me. A long answer for that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Spoken with any of the guys individually?
I've met a couple of the guys, yeah. I've talked to a couple on the phone, and I'm still kind of in the process of doing that. But yeah, absolutely I have, and that's going to be obviously a relationship between a coach and a player is huge, right? We're all in this thing together, and for us to reach our potential, I'm a big believer in, one of my responsibilities as a member of this organization is to help the players that I come in contact with every single day reach their potential. And it's a joint effort, right? I mean, it's not just Joe Philbin standing on a pulpit and lecturing all day. And so, but that relationship and that trust, that takes time, and it doesn't happen overnight, and I don't expect it to. I have to earn, as you mentioned, that some of these guys have a very, very accomplished background, and you have to earn the respect of the players, and you do that, I think number one, by showing that you care about them, and number two, that you're prepared and professional, and that the game is important to you as a coach as well.
What's been the process of you starting to work with Kellen?
Well, he's been great. I mean, you can tell obviously in the short and brief meetings that we've had, he's extremely bright coach, and he listens to everybody. We've had a really very good dialogue amongst the staff, and he certainly wants to hear opinions. It's not been, a gavel coming down, and this is exactly the way we're doing it. And so it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of good exchange, and but ultimately he's going to make those decisions, and we're going to follow his lead for sure.
What was the most attractive part of this opportunity? Was it the Cowboys, the players, the chance to be on the staff?
Yes. Look, I mean, in all honesty, right, I coached for 35 years in a row. I took a year off. I did some work with the NFL. I did some consulting work, and kind of reassessed myself and my own professional journey. And, I love coaching. I love being a part of a team. Obviously, I have some background with Mike McCarthy, who I think is an outstanding head football coach. The truth of the matter is I grew up in Massachusetts, but in those days the Patriots were not the Patriots that we know of, and I think because I must have had some premonition I was going to be bald. I mean, Tom Landry was somebody I looked up to, and the way the Cowboys did things. In all honesty, I was a Cowboys fan, and so yeah, I mean, this is if you're a football coach. In fact, yesterday I walked outside for the first time. They've kind of had me locked up, and I got to the far end zone and I took a look at the Ford Center and I'm like, holy cow, are you kidding me? So if you love football and you love coaching and you get an opportunity to coach with the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, it's hard to say no, I would imagine.
Obviously, you mentioned your relationship with Mike McCarthy. How much have you seen him change to where he is right now?
Well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, you always want to grow, you want to develop, you want to improve. I mean, that's a mantra, I think, in coaching. I don't think that's just coach speak. And so, I had seen Mike a couple of different times throughout last spring and this fall, and we, would talk about what I was doing in New York and what he was been doing. And so I think if you would ask him, I don't want to speak for him, but I think it was beneficial for him to analyze some things, look at some things, and hopefully, develop some other thoughts perhaps on how to do things. But I think at the same point in time, I know after 35 years for Joe Philbin, I kind of know what I am and I know what I'm not. And we all have strengths and weaknesses, right? And some of those things aren't going to change for me. And some of the great things that I know about Mike McCarthy, I hope those don't change either, because, you have to be yourself too. You want to be better, you want to improve, but there are certain things that have gotten Mike McCarthy to where he is today, and those things don't ever change, right? Like offensive line play, good blocking doesn't ever change. It's been the same for 35 years, and that's a good thing.